The sun was barely rising over the silver towers of Hamilton Industries when Clara wiped her hands on her faded apron and took a deep breath. Her shift as the cleaning lady in the city's grandest office building was about to start, and she prayed the security guards wouldn't notice her daughter, Mia, asleep in the corner of the janitor's room. Mia was 9 years old, born with Down syndrome, and had a heart so pure it could melt stone, but Clara's life had been anything but easy. Her husband had vanished when he found out about Mia's condition, leaving Clara to survive on her own. Every night, she mopped floors and scrubbed toilets, humming softly to calm her child, whispering, "One day, baby, Mama's gonna make it better." On that particular morning, fate was waiting. Upstairs, Richard Hamilton, the CEO and owner of the building, walked in early for a high-profile investor meeting. Known across the city as a ruthless billionaire, Richard didn't believe in sob stories. He believed in profit margins, time efficiency, and iron discipline. Rumor had it he'd fired an assistant once for sneezing during a presentation. But today, as he walked through the marble lobby, he caught sight of something that stopped him cold. A little girl, with golden curls and a smile that didn't match her ragged clothes, sitting on the floor beside a bucket of soap water, drawing tiny flowers on a paper towel. Before Richard could process the scene, one of his managers stormed toward them, yelling, "Clara! What is your daughter doing here? This is a workplace, not a daycare." Clara froze. Her eyes widened as she stepped protectively in front of Mia, trembling but fierce. "Please," she begged, "I couldn't leave her home alone. I'll finish my work, I promise. Just let her stay quiet here." The manager sneered and raised his voice, ready to humiliate her, but Richard's deep, commanding tone cut through the room. "Stop." Everyone turned. Richard's gaze was sharp, his voice calm but cold. "Who are you protecting so desperately?" he asked. Clara swallowed hard. "My daughter, sir. She's special." There was a silence heavy enough to break glass. Richard's expression softened just slightly, but his next words were stern. "Take her out of here. This is a business, not a shelter." Tears welled in Clara's eyes. "Please, sir," she whispered. "If I miss my shift, they'll fire me. I can't lose this job. It's all we have." For a moment, Richard hesitated. Then he turned away and walked off, or so Clara thought. But from his office upstairs, Richard couldn't shake the image of that woman shielding her little girl like a lioness guarding her cub. Something in him stirred, something buried deep under years of coldness and control. That evening, as Clara finished scrubbing the last corridor, she heard a commotion. 2 men in suits were yelling near the elevator. She stole from the break room. One shouted, "I saw her take leftover sandwiches for her kid." The accusation cut through her like a knife. Before she could speak, Richard appeared again, his eyes narrowing. "What's going on here?" Clara clutched Mia's hand and whispered, "Sir, she was hungry. I didn't mean to steal." Richard looked at the small sandwich bag in her trembling hands, then at the terrified child beside her. The building was silent. Then, quietly, he said, "Everyone leave." The guards stepped back, confused. Now, when they were gone, Richard sighed. "You shouldn't have to steal to feed your child," he said. Clara's lips trembled. "Then what should I do, sir? Pray money falls from the sky." For the first time in years, Richard didn't have an answer. He turned away, but something inside him whispered that his life, and hers, was about to change forever. The next morning, Clara was sure. She would be fired. Her stomach twisted as she entered the building, but instead of the manager, she was greeted by Richard himself. "In my office," he said. She followed, trembling. The office was massive, walls of glass, shelves lined with awards, but what caught her eye was Mia sitting on the couch, smiling, with a plate of pancakes in front of her. Clara gasped. "Mia, what?" Richard raised a hand gently. "She's fine. I had breakfast brought up." "Sit down, Clara." She sat, confused and wary. Richard leaned forward, his usual icy expression replaced by something softer. "I did some research," he said. "You've worked here for 6 years. Never missed a shift. Always early. No complaints. Yet you make barely enough to survive." He paused. "Why didn't you ever ask for help?" Clara smiled faintly, bitterly. Because people like me don't get help, sir. We just clean up after those who already have everything. Her voice cracked. But Mia, she's my everything. Richard looked at the little girl, who was humming happily, drawing hearts on a napkin. He swallowed hard. His own mother had died when he was young, poor, sick, and ignored by the same kind of people he'd become. For the first time, he saw his reflection in Clara's story, and he didn't like what he saw. "You're right," he finally said. "People like me forget that some hearts are richer than any bank account." He stood, took out a folder, and slid it across the desk. "Effective immediately, you're promoted to head of staff. Double pay, full benefits. And Mia," he smiled at the little girl, "she'll be enrolled in the best special needs school in the city. I'll cover the expenses." Clara froze, her hand over her mouth. "Sir, why?" He looked out the window, his voice low. "Because yesterday, you reminded me what real strength looks like. You protected your daughter when the world mocked her. That kind of love, money can't buy." Tears streamed down Clara's face. She dropped to her knees, sobbing. "Thank you, sir. You've saved us." Richard reached down and helped her up gently. "No, Clara," he said softly. "You saved me." Months later, the Hamilton building wasn't just a business hub. It became known for its Kind Hearts program, helping employees with families in need. Clara led it proudly, with Mia often visiting to hand out flowers and warm smiles. And Richard, he was no longer the ruthless CEO people feared. He was the man who learned that wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in compassion. As the story spread, people began calling him the millionaire with a heart of gold. But he always said the same thing. The real gold was found in a cleaning lady's courage, and her daughter's smile. Ending message. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Kind Hearts Stories, for more real-life tales that remind us, kindness is the richest gift of all. Heart.